Welcome back, everyone, to the Alpha Takes podcast, episode 51.
51? What happens after you're 50?
You start listening to horrible podcasts like this one. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the show where we talk about movies, music, and we provide our awful takes for you guys to listen to. I may sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. You know what? I don't even sound like I know what I'm talking about. I sound really stupid.
You're just winging it.
Yeah. So if you're still here with us, thank you so much. How we structure our shows for the first bit of our episodic shows that are numbered, we talk about movie news that we find interesting, that kind of piques our interest and stuff, and then we jump over into the reviews. So if you're here for just the review, first time clicking on the episode, feel free to look at the timestamps and jump ahead to that.
We'll have them in the description for you guys, so don't worry.
And then I also will shout out, I haven't done it in a while. We also upload our episodes to Spotify. So if you are on the go, and you don't really, handling YouTube and stuff, I don't pay for YouTube Premium. So I have to keep my phone open when I'm like listening to YouTube and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If you're the kind of person like me where you just like Spotify, just audio and that's it, we also upload our episodes to Spotify. So feel free to check that out.
Cool.
All right. We got a little bit of movie news before we jump into what is probably our last horror movie of the Halloween season. So,
okay. What a way to go out, I guess.
Yeah. So first bit of movie news that I wanted to mention that really excites me. I'm not gonna lie. Hearing about this, man, this really could just be a dream come true for me, and I know for a lot of people. The co-writer of the upcoming Batman Part 2 that we are expecting to see next year,
quote unquote, if it ever comes out.
His name is Mattson Tomlin. Was recently interviewed, and he had some interesting things to say about a superhero sequel movie that isn't in DC. So I was really kind of caught off guard with his comment. Allegedly, he says that he has been trying to reach Sam Raimi about writing Spider-Man 4.
Wow.
He also wants it to be about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man juggling being a husband and a father and a superhero at the same time. And hearing this comment hasn't been the first of these comments. Ever since Spider-Man No Way Home, spoiler alert, Tobey Maguire comes back, and not only to mention you have a few of his villains in the movie as well, like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock.
Which is crazy. They got all of them for the movie, but yeah.
So you have all these characters who made a reappearance. And I remember after leaving that movie, how real it's a possibility kind of seemed that, that would be kind of cool if they did a Spider-Man 4 or a Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield or something.
Yeah. I don't know about that Amazing Spider-Man one. I don't like how...
As long as they could redeem it a little bit.
Yeah.
But now... So we heard about that at the time, just kind of like a little fan dream and stuff. And
yeah, of course. Then
we started to hear more people kind of talking about it. I remember hearing that Sam Raimi would actually really love to do that. He said in an interview that would be something that he would really make time for. He would really, put in the effort. In his eyes, kind of redeem himself with Spider-Man 3 because that movie kind of got away from him. Sure. And then not only to mention recently, Kirsten Dunst was interviewed, and she also expressed great interest that she would love to do Spider-Man 4. So I'm hearing a lot of stuff about this, and this is really kind of exciting me to the point where I'm like, can this actually happen? Spider-Man 4. I mean, we all know that at one point they were going to do it, and it got canceled, and they just ended up rebooting Spider-Man in general. They had a release date and everything. There's been leaked concept art, leaked story plots about the script and everything.
And it looks really awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm really disappointed we never got that version, but
Exactly. So if this is really becoming a possibility, I know a lot of Spider-Man fans who would be really excited and really jump at this if Sony could really make it happen. I honestly think if Sony was to do Spider-Man 4 and hypothetically an Amazing Spider-Man 3, I think that would bode a lot better for them than doing all these stupid Spider-Man spin-offs that no one cares about.
Oh yeah.
No one wants them. Craven, Madam Web, Venom Morbius. We don't need any of that. Like, you have people dying to get Spider-Man 4. And not only that, I feel like now with No Way Home and Into the Spider-Verse, I think general audiences are really able to grasp now what a multiverse is. They're not going to be confused. They're not going to think that, oh, is this Tom Holland Spider-Man? Maybe a handful of people, but I think that day and age is kind of out of the window. You know, I think people are able to understand, oh, wait, there's more than one Spider-Man. There's more than one supervillain, you know, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, the possibilities with Spider-Man, though, honestly, are just endless anyways.
Yeah.
But for me, personally, it's exciting. I mean, Spider-Man's my favorite superhero of all time. So hearing there's a possibility of Spider-Man 4, and especially hearing like Sam Raimi's like actually expressing interest of it, is really exciting. I would definitely love to know, like, I hope they can get Tobey Maguire for it, honestly. Because that's kind of the one I'm surprised I haven't heard mentioned, like him doing any interest for Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think honestly that could really work, especially because it has been almost 20 years since Spider-Man 3. And I think hearing that idea of like him becoming a father and him juggling that sounds really incredible. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see how they pull that off.
No, it would be a great different look at Spider-Man. We've always seen Spider-Man when he's the young kid, teenager and stuff, which is good, and I really like that. I'm not trying to knock it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like that. Always really connects with me too, personally.
Yeah, it would be really nice to see, especially a Spider-Man that we've known for so long. I mean, how great was it when he came back in No Way Home, and you really have seen that he's older now and everything. For me, growing up as a kid, it was great to see all three of them. Like, I had Tobey Maguire as a kid. Andrew Garfield was my Spider-Man when I was a teenager. And then now it's Tom Holland, you know? So it was like a nice culmination.
It's a nice full circle moment too, also for like all these three different Spider-Men.
And it worked so well. And I feel like it really kind of gave new light to some of these characters. Cause man, people try to hide it now and say that they love it. But I remember when Spider-Man 3 came out, so many people hated it, and so many people hated that portrayal of Tobey Maguire and everything and his Spider-Man. So
I like when he dances.
So I think it gave a lot of new hope of like, oh, okay, this is great. Like, I would love to see more of this kind of Spider-Man, you know? So
yeah, for sure. And then I guess also with that, hearing that idea, I was just thinking about like Into the Spider-Verse too, of like the older Peter Parker from like an alternate universe where he's kind of like more washed up and all that, you know? And of course, like spoilers for Across the Spider-Verse, but you know, he has like a kid and everything that comes along with him. I think that's something that like you could really explore too with like a Spider-Man 4.
So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we hear more about it soon. Maybe, like you said, maybe Tobey Maguire might say something. And Sony, please drop your stupid spin-off movies. Leave them and focus on your animated stuff, and then focus. Come on, bring this back. Like, I think so many people would be happy.
Unless they do Madam Web 2, then maybe it'll be probably.
All right, next bit of movie news. Kind of interesting. This kind of touches on Halloween and horror and stuff like that.
All right.
I'll kind of get into my opinions of the franchise in general. But we had a director of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Chuck Russell, and he was on a podcast, and he was talking about where he's possibly going to take this new Nightmare on Elm Street kind of sequel. And we're getting to the point now. I mean, obviously, Robert Englund has stated in interviews that he's done playing Freddy. You know, he's too old. He's at the point where he can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I remember in an interview he said that he could possibly voice like a really high-end animation version or something like that. But as far as physically being there and doing stuff like that,
not anytime soon.
He's straight up said, you know, I'm an old dog, give me a break.
Yeah.
So respect to him. Obviously, he's so iconic in that role anyways. And now we're trying to find someone else to kind of fill that role. And the director of this upcoming movie, Chuck Russell, has said that he has someone in mind that he was thinking of. And he brings up an interesting name, Jim Carrey. And he says that Jim, in his opinion, could almost do anything if he puts his heart into it, which I kind of agree. I think Jim Carrey is a very underrated kind of actor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just watch Eternal Sunshine or Truman Show for that. Seriously.
And he says for Jim to do it, we'd have to do something that was another leap in the Elm Street series, a little bit like what Wes did with his very new, new Nightmare. I think Jim would only consider it, and I'd only consider harnessing Jim if there was a bold new direction for Elm Street. I find that very interesting. I think Jim Carrey actually really could do a really good job. I think Jim Carrey's one of the few people out there who, when you watch some of his movies where he's in prosthetic makeup and stuff like that, he really embodies the character and really kind of acts through the prosthetics and the makeup
scarily well
to just like such an insane degree that you're just like, whoa, this guy doesn't feel, because I've seen other movies where there are actors in prosthetics and you could just tell that they're uncomfortable. They can't move. They can't express through their face.
Yeah.
That is not the case for Jim Carrey. Like for instance, The Grinch, like, man, his facial expressions, his voices, the way he moves around, it's just like, he really just does everything to embody this character, and he's not limited by all these prosthetics and everything.
Even Dr. Eggman in like that newest Sonic film, like I was honestly really impressed with his performance in that. And considering he's doing like a double role in that film too, I was like, wow, you know, he's able to like showcase these two different Eggmen in like such a different, unique way.
Yeah. And if they were to get him, at least for me personally, that would give me some excitement for this movie, just because straight up, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Nightmare on Elm Street as a franchise in general. I've seen the first one, and while I can appreciate what it does and everything, I just didn't find it scary. Like, for instance, watching it, there's just like all these weird synth music, and Freddy's like quipping, making jokes and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't really find it that scary. Concepts in it I find very interesting and scary. Obviously, living through dreams and things like that it's super interesting. But man, that movie really didn't do it for me. And then, sorry fans, one of the only other times I've seen Freddy is in Freddy versus Jason, and I really hate that movie.
I saw that clip you mentioned during the Alien versus Predator discussion. I was like, ooh, yeah, that's really bad.
Really.
That metal music that comes in. Jesus.
Maybe one day we'll talk about one of those movies, but
okay.
If Jim Carrey was brought into this, man, I'd be so excited. Just because I really like Jim Carrey as an actor, and I know he was talking about retiring and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I heard Sonic was like his last performance or something, so that's kind of surprising to hear. He's like kind of in somewhat talks with this. Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, for sure.
Wally, what do you think about Jim Carrey possibly being our new Freddy Krueger?
It's kind of one of those things where I'll just have to believe it when I see it, honestly, just because I'm trying to kind of imagine Jim Carrey and like as like Freddy. Yeah. I mean, I guess he's done it with like the mask and everything, so it's not like an impossible task, but I definitely just would love to see like a first look of this. I think to have like a better idea.
I think it would be kind of like this director says, you really need like a bold new take on it. I feel like you couldn't really do what's been done.
Right.
It would, especially getting Jim Carrey, I feel like you would need something that really kind of defines it as his own, you know?
Yeah, not just like Robert Englund impression type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's kind of exciting.
Nice.
All right. What else do we got, Wallied?
So we had a couple exciting movie news on my end. So I'll pull up the article real quick. So Netflix landed a holiday comedy from Lord and Miller. Obviously, they have a new film coming out with Project Hail Mary, which I'll be honest with you guys is probably my most anticipated film of next year. And so, yeah, hearing this holiday comedy project they're attached to, and there's actually a title for it too. It's called The In Clause, which I love that title. It's very cheesy. It's very Christmas sounding, which I love. And obviously, there's not too much info about it. Obviously, like a lot of Lord and Miller stuff, the plot details and things like that are obviously kept under wrap and things like that. But man, like it's really cool and exciting to hear they're attached to a kind of holiday comedy thing. And I'm surprised it's taken them so long to do it too. I'm excited to kind of see when they give first looks and all that. And I wonder if it'll be either live action or like more their animated typical stuff. So yeah, it really took me by surprise, and I'm really interested to see what this project will be. So how'd you kind of take this away?
Yeah, I find it very interesting. I think Christmas movies have been kind of dormant for quite a while now.
Yeah, other than the holdovers, which we both really loved. But
I can't really think of like the last time I've seen like a modern Christmas movie that really worked for me on that level, you know? So hearing that these two are attached for me is really exciting. I really don't think they've ever made a movie that I haven't liked.
Yeah, they have really yet to miss with me, whether it's like their directing stuff or it's like stuff they just write and produce for. Like anytime I feel like their name is like attached to something, it's usually like a sign of like something good.
I really want to see more from them. I feel like in the past couple of years, they haven't really been directing and stuff as much.
Right.
Obviously, that kind of only elevates my excitement for Project Hail Mary. But I want to see more from them. I really hope after that movie, they don't wait around. They don't do more producing, because I just feel like there's so much more for them to do as directors and stuff. And I really feel like if they were to keep at it, they could really elevate themselves to that super top A-list category that I know they're capable of, you know?
Yeah.
I really would love to see, you know, general going audiences really mention their name, really talk about them, you know?
Yeah,
which they kind of do, but I think it's a little bit harder when you're attached to some big projects that really have a lot more going for them than just the directing. Like obviously with their their Jump Street series, people really just like talk about Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, their chemistry and everything, you know. Same thing with like their Lego movie and stuff. Obviously that's kind of the main selling point.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Exactly. Yeah. So I really feel like if they could jump on something that is not as well known, we would start to hear their name maybe a little bit more
definitely.
than we are. Yeah.
So, and hearing it's kind of more of like an original idea too is also just really exciting, because obviously I love like, you know, the animated stuff they do, like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Lego Movie, but they are kind of a part of like a bigger, you know, franchise type of thing, you know, and whatnot, or based off like a book with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. But hearing this is kind of an original idea, it does excite me, and it does have me curious to kind of see like what they do with like a original idea.
We'll have to wait and see when it comes out. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm excited.
Nice.
Last piece of movie news that I kind of forgot about that I just figured I have to bring this up. This is really just like the most out of nowhere thing that I've heard. Steven Soderbergh was talking recently in a few interviews and stuff, and he brought up something out of nowhere that just kind of blew my mind, and it just further is cementing my disdain for where this company is headed and what the future looks like.
Okay.
Steven Soderbergh had been in an interview this week. He mentioned for the first time that he wrote a completed script for a Star Wars movie that is starring Adam Driver as Kylo Ren and / Ben Solo. And this movie was titled The Hunt for Ben Solo. It was about what happens to him after Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. the script was completed. They pitched it to Disney and everything, or not Disney. They pitched it to Lucasfilm, all that stuff. Lucasfilm loved this script. They loved the idea, but they had to pass it up the chain. They went higher. They had to go to Disney and everything like that. And I don't know if it was Bob Iger or whoever higher up ended up rejecting the script. And it's not getting made.
What? Okay.
And Adam Driver also recently revealed that, quote unquote, it was one of the coolest scripts I had ever been a part of. So he was really excited for it. Steven Soderbergh also said in this interview, for the record, I did not enjoy lying about the existence of The Hunt for Ben Solo, but it really did need to remain a secret until now. So with him being as open as he is about it, this project is most likely done. This project's probably canned. It's probably never going to happen. Yeah, so I really don't know how to feel. I don't know what Lucasfilm is doing. I mean, I've talked so much about mishandling of the Star Wars franchise from the moment Last Jedi came out past that. You know, there was just so many different and weird choices and choices that just ultimately don't make sense to me at all. Especially when you have such a concrete formula with the guys right across the hall from you at Marvel. They know how to structure these movies. They know how to plan releases. And granted, yeah, Marvel's in a little weird situation right now. You know, they haven't been making the best stuff, but at least they have plans and they stick to them. Like, how many directors and writers have came onto Star Wars projects and left and you know, where we are with Star Wars. Like, we don't have anything to show for it. We just have this Mandalorian movie coming out that
I know you're so excited about it.
I didn't mention it, but watching that trailer, man, I was just like, this doesn't feel like Star Wars in the theaters. I feel like I'm just watching a TV show.
Oh, I didn't know there was a trailer for it.
Yeah, I didn't really want to talk about it just because I was like, I'm not going to be the most excited person about it. Granted, I know there's excitement for it and people really love Mandalorian. I love Mandalorian. I think he's a really cool character and I love Grogu and all that stuff. But the show just didn't really feel like it needed a movie. And now that I'm seeing a movie, this feels almost secondhand, like a second-handed option of like, well, we could make a movie, you know, and they just kind of went with it. And I'm just like, but did you really want to? And is that what the story needed? It doesn't really feel like it, because in this trailer, he has the Razor Crest back, his old ship. And I was like, wait, didn't that get blown up? And I'm just like,
okay.
Yeah, it's just a really weird
really
direction.
Weird.
And I'm just like, I don't know how to feel. But now hearing this, you had a very accomplished screenwriter.
You have like one of the most talented filmmakers with Steven Spielberg, and you just waste him? Really?
And he had an idea, and it was completed, and he brings it to you. And not only that, you have an actor,
fumble it,
an amazing Oscar caliber actor who is excited for this, you know? And granted, spoiler alert, Rise of Skywalker, he's dead. Okay, whatever. If this somehow kind of conflicted with that timeline or whatever.
Somehow Kylo Ren returned. What do you mean?
You already did it. You already fucking did it. Spoiler again. You brought back Palpatine. So I don't really care whatever higher up is like, this doesn't work. He's dead. You already fucking rewrote history. So just do it again.
Come on, it's not that hard. You could just write another line like that.
I'm so pissed. Like, and I love that. Okay, well, my opinion on the sequel trilogy is, yes, overall, I am not a big fan of it. But one of the big aspects that really worked for me is Adam Driver as Kylo Ren / Ben Solo.
Honestly, I will say he's like the one only consistent thing about that movie. Surprisingly.
Even in that awful third movie, man, he does really great in that. And there's a scene with him and Han Solo that really, man, it got the emotions out of me.
That was probably the best scene in the whole film. Yeah, honestly.
And here he is. This actor wants to do it. This accomplished filmmaker wants to do it. and you guys say no? Are you trying to compete with Activision for the dumbest decision in movies this year? Like, that's so stupid. Like, you guys have these amazing filmmakers and stuff who want to do these projects. Why are you saying no? So we can watch Mandalorian and Grogu on screen?
So we can get Sean Levy?
Yeah, so we can get Sean Levy and see that, oh, okay, let's have him make a by the numbers movie again. I don't know. I'm at a loss when it comes to Lucasfilm. Someone down there either needs to be fired or something, because this is really getting me angry. And it's just, it comes from a place of just real love and appreciation for Star Wars, man. I care. Star Wars is one of my favorite movie franchises ever. And to see where it is now, really just is so disappointing. Like, Star Wars for me is just, it's just something that's been a part of my life for the longest time. And just to see the mismanagement of everything is just, man, it hurts, and it really makes me upset.
I kind of wish George Lucas didn't sell it, because you know what? I mean, as much as we give George Lucas some crap on some things, you know what? At least that was like his singular vision with the original trilogy and prequel trilogy.
Yep.
With the sequel trilogy, I don't even know what the vision is half of the time, because all the different filmmakers they got, they're just like completely their own different thing, which I wouldn't mind. But if you're going to do a whole trilogy, like, you got to make sure it's like one vision and cohesive and consistent.
Yeah. That's one thing I want to touch on this podcast eventually, is that sequel trilogy. I don't know when or how it's going to happen, but
yeah, I'm totally down
really
to it, because it is really fascinating. It's just like insane how much we dropped the ball on it.
It really is going to be such a big learning lesson for franchises down the future and everything, to just watch the most excitement and the most hype you've ever seen for a movie dwindle down to just the most bare minimum
nothing
disdain. Like, people actually were just not excited for that last movie, and then now it's just like Star Wars isn't even in theaters anymore, you know?
Yeah, and it's so crazy because there was like a whole period between like 2015 to 2019 where it was like every year we got a new Star Wars film, and especially with like the Disney Plus thing and everything, and it was just like, now it's just kind of nothing, basically.
And Star Wars is one of the few franchises that has the most expansive worlds and so many different stories in it. I mean, just play some of the old LucasArts video games, man. They have some of the most diverse characters, crazy stories, you know, and it's so interesting.
That's not even so much lore the legend stuff.
Yeah. There's so much lore to pull from, and yet you can't find a way to make it work yet.
Which is so baffling to me.
The Conjuring movie has how many spin-offs and how many sequels, and they're finding new lore to pull from. And here we are with Star Wars. We can't fucking do it.
I know it probably will never happen, but I pray someday we just get a Thrawn trilogy or something. Like, do you know how cool that would be to have Grand Admiral Thrawn as like your main villain for a trilogy?
Do that. Do Knights of the Old Republic. Or for me, I've been wanting to see Darth Plagueis, like, or even Darth Bane. You know, there's so many different stories. Talk about the old Sith army. You know, like, there's so many different ideas and cool lore out there, and they just don't want to pull from it. I don't know what it is.
Which is so surprising to me. I don't know why we haven't. And then also with Steven Soderbergh, I'm like, man, that's like such a talented filmmaker. Like, his film from this year, Black Bag, was like such an amazing like deconstruction of a spy film. And hearing like that he was attached to a Star Wars project honestly really surprises me. But man, like, just knowing like some of his track record and everything with some films, and especially like his Ocean's trilogy and things like that, I'm like, man, he probably honestly could have done so much with Star Wars, you know? Yeah. And it's so sad to hear they just wasted him. And they were like, Steven Soderbergh, nah, we're good. Let's get Sean Levy.
Let's get Sean Levy. Let's get God, there's so many different names.
I know they got Ron Howard for Solo because Lord and Miller left, which I'm still a little petty about. I'm still like very disappointed we never got their Solo film, because man, that probably would have been really, really awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to jump into the movie. Thank you guys for listening to the movie news.
Thank you. That was really long.
This is a very crazy movie. We're on the last episode of our Halloween horror, all-inclusive, no frills, genre-bending extravaganza. So thank you so much for joining us. Wallied recommended a movie. What are we talking about?
Yes, so we are talking about Jaws from 1975 from Steven Spielberg. It is considered to be the first summer blockbuster, which I didn't know until a couple of years ago, actually. But yes, for me, I'll just kind of tell you a little bit of an idea of what the film is about. So it's about chief police who finds out there's some shark attacks going on, and they pretty much are trying to investigate where the sharks are coming from, how the shark is, and obviously like an oceanologist comes in, and then there's like a fisherman who like loves killing sharks. And yeah, it's a pretty simple setup. And for me, this was a film I've heard so much about for the last, God, I don't even know, probably like the last 10 or 15 years. And I've just never seen it until now. And one of the reasons I decided to recommend it was, well, there's two reasons. Reason number one is obviously it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws. And that gave me a little bit of inspiration to finally like get around to watching this film. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. So I was like, I definitely wanted to watch it at some point and discuss it. And two, for me, Steven Spielberg, I think is a very interesting, unique filmmaker like Danny Boyle for me personally. He just has the widest array of films, and especially watching Jaws for the first time, like, man, the way this man just blends so many different genres and the way that he can just try out so many different movies has always been something that I've always had such a massive respect for personally. And also, I mean, I guess this is one thing I've never really touched on too much, but he was one of the first filmmakers I got into as a kid, actually, through his films like The Adventures of Tintin and Ready Player One, and even The Terminal, actually.
I love The Terminal.
I do too. Yeah,
I know a lot of people don't like that movie, and I don't know why. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's like one of my favorite Spielberg films.
Yeah.
Like that is such a insane drama film. I'll have to recommend that one someday for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then finally getting around to watching his Indiana Jones series, I was like, I definitely want to explore more of Steven Spielberg's films and everything. So yeah, that was kind of my overall thoughts of recommending this film. And so I'll say for a first time, what a hot take this will be, but this film really blew me away, and I just had an absolute blast with this film, and I'm actually really like kicking myself in the butt for not seeing this sooner. I'm actually really disappointed I didn't see this sooner. I'm actually really shocked my parents never really showed me this movie or anything, especially when I had first discovered Steven Spielberg. And also, I forgot to mention Jurassic Park 2 was another big one for me as a kid. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I was not really expecting the horror to be all too scary or anything, but man, there's a lot of, obviously we'll get into it, but there's a ton of incredible scares throughout this film that I was just like really caught me off guard. And I honestly like kind of screamed at certain points just from like just the shark. I didn't think like I found sharks that scary until watching this film. And not only that too, but like there's just a ton of like hilarious moments throughout also, especially with like the oceanologist character. And there's also just a ton of incredible drama with like the main chief officer of him like trying to investigate the shark attacks, and you know, him being divided between like opening the beaches and not opening them. So yeah, I'm excited to really get into it and a lot of my just kind of like things that were going through my head throughout the film. So what is your experience, Nabahi, with Jaws?
Jaws for me is a big one. Growing up as a kid, was a film I was shown at a very young age. And man, it was so effective as a kid and everything. Really made me terrified of going near water and stuff like that. And it was exciting. It was thrilling. And then now, as you know, an adult and everything, I've watched this movie so many times. I really have just kind of come to a conclusion that this really is, for better words, a perfect movie. This movie has amazing drama. It has great acting. It has amazing effects. It has some amazing camera work that I just can't even believe that they kind of came up with a lot of this stuff for the movie. Like, for instance, like putting the camera in like a transparent box to kind of film that water line of like you're above water, but you can also see below it. Like,
really?
They kind of came up with a lot of these ideas for this movie. And then not only to mention the budget that was put into for this mechanical shark and everything. And not only that, the story of editing. How does editing really play into your overall enjoyment of the movie? And this movie is a perfect example of that. Like behind the scenes, this shark was, not working and everything. It's kind of funny. It happens a lot with Spielberg, and they really had to edit around the shark because it was just malfunctioning, or they weren't happy with the look and everything. And in that, the editing really adds this layer of tension that just builds throughout the whole movie, and you're just like on edge, like, when are you going to see the shark next? And when you do, it could just be like a brief glimpse of it just surfacing, or it could just be like a fin or something. And then the freaking amazing score by John Williams just adds that final just layer of scariness and tension that is just like everything works so well in this movie. And even now as an adult, one of the aspects that I appreciate so much with this movie is the idea of someone knowing about the possible danger of something, and the people of this town and stuff don't believe him, and that is just such interesting drama. I didn't care for it as much as a kid, obviously, because I couldn't really understand what was going on.
Right. Yeah.
Just seeing how this guy has the stress of everything, of the people. Why aren't our beaches safe? Oh, we want them open. It's almost summertime. Wait, why haven't you caught the shark yet? And it's just like so much is riding on this guy's shoulders. And not only that, he has to deal with his family. He has to deal with these people that he doesn't know, like someone like Quint, or someone like
the mayor
and everything.
Jeez, that mayor.
Yeah.
character.
And it's just like everything is working against this guy. And man, it just further like comes to the greatest climax of him being like, I have to go out on the ocean and find this thing. Yeah. And it's just like, that's amazing. But yeah, really love that aspect of this movie. And it's so underappreciated, or not underappreciated, but people really talk about the shark. People talk about the performance of Robert Shaw as Quint or whatever. The story of Brody versus this town is just amazing, and I just love that aspect so much of this movie. But yeah,
nice.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, wow. I mean, just right away, like when the movie starts, I love that it just sets the tone so quickly. That John Williams score, like you mentioned, throughout, like, man, what an incredible theme to hear. And especially now, like hearing it in the context of the film, because I've heard, obviously I've heard it so many times before, but it's like when you finally hear it in the context of the movie, it's like, wow, that really is like such a memorable, fantastic score. Yeah. And it's such a great way to like open the film up too and everything. And right away, I mean, I love that they kind of showcase the mix of humor and horror with obviously the couple that like goes to the beach and everything. And she goes into the beach and, she's like,
and the guy's all drunk and everything.
Yeah. And he's like trying to take off his like clothes and everything. And she's like getting eaten by a shark. And it's like, it just like intercuts with like him like falling asleep. And it's like, I'm like terrified, but I'm also like laughing too. Yeah. And it's this like really incredible way to showcase horror and humor. And like the first like 10 minutes of your film, I was like, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that at all at the beginning. Yeah. And it's such an insane kill too. And I love and I guess that's one consistent thing I love throughout is the POV shots of the shark. Yeah. Like they look gorgeous, honestly, and they look really terrifying. And it was not something at all I expected, because obviously we've talked about limited perspective throughout, at least this year with this series. But man, I think this was a really great way to showcase the shark so early on in the beginning. Yeah.
It's kind of one of my first time I was exposed to like, you know, point of view with movies, you know, like this was something that anytime it would cut to the POV of this shark swimming up under the ocean, going near like the legs and stuff of people, I was just like, that's actually kind of freaky, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it really was. And especially like later on in the film and everything.
Yeah.
And I love a lot of the shots of just like the people at like the beaches and everything. They don't feel like actors, surprisingly. I think that's one thing I love a lot with Steven Spielberg is that he just can make extras super memorable, surprisingly. And especially I think he showcases it really well in this film. Like it feels like a kind of like a documentary at some points where it just feels like just people just hanging out on the beach, honestly. You know, it feels like kind of like a little world that Spielberg's created with this film, honestly.
And I love after the opening, the morning of them finding this body, and they show it very briefly,
and it
at
really
least parts of the body, and there's all really these crabs or whatever that were
like
on
kelp on it.
And
it's like just, the hand's gray,
man, and it's such a quick shot, and you just see it cuts to Chief Brody's reaction, and he's just like, you can just tell, like, man, he doesn't know what to do, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And I love that so much with this movie. You get so many different points of views of characters, and especially someone like Chief Brody, who's kind of out of his element. You know, he's not used to the island. He's not used to island life or anything like that. And he's taken this job in an area that he hasn't had much experience with. He doesn't know what to do. But then you also have characters who are super smart, like Matt Hooper, the oceanologist guy. Oceanologist. And even he gets to the point where this is a guy who's so knowledgeable about everything. And even he's just like, you know, we're out of our own element here.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. And I really loved Roy Scheider's performance as Chief Brody too. Yeah. He gave such a fantastic performance throughout.
He feels so real. Like, I swear, when I watch this movie,
doesn't even feel like he's acting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's great watching Indiana Jones. You have Harrison Ford, or you know, Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park,
or Sam Neill.
Sam Neill, and in this movie, all these characters, I don't know what it is, they just feel very real to me. And
there's a lot of layers to them. Yeah. And I love that so much. And I love right away, like they set up, I love just how quick of a setup it is. And it's crazy to me, this movie is like 2 hours also, because like, I don't feel the runtime like one bit. And I was kind of a little worried going into it. I was like, I don't know how much of this will work and everything. And especially with getting different character perspectives, I was a little worried it might be a little too much, but it surprisingly doesn't feel like too much. I feel like you get like a right amount of time with each of the characters. And I love, so funny you mentioned Quint, because I love his introduction so much. You know, they're having this like town hall meeting and everything after like the first kill. And there's him scratching the chalkboard. I'm like, that for me, just from this first viewing, that has to be one of my favorite character introductions I've seen in a while. And
you've seen it parodied on SpongeBob. Like, I remember that. I remember laughing as a kid at SpongeBob. They're trying to find that worm, and then that guy scratches the thing, and they all turn to him, and he's just like,
and it's so funny. I didn't even know that was a reference.
But Robert Shaw, I love all three. They play off each other so well, but I love Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss as Matt Hooper. I love their back and forth.
Oh yeah, it's great, especially in the second half, because it turns into like a that was one thing I guess I wasn't expecting in the second half, is that it turns into like kind of like a pirate adventure.
Yeah, and I like how Quint, obviously he portrays this sea life, basically almost sea dog pirate guy very well. Yeah, and someone like Matt Hooper, who's from the city, studies things from, you know, diving, books, things like that.
He's that college type of guy.
Yeah, I love that they are just at each other's necks the whole third act, and it really is just so entertaining.
And I love their back and forth. It's funny. I love their banter so much throughout.
So good.
And I love that like the Chief Brody is just like in the middle of like both of them basically.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite uses of the bait and switch is the sequence where they're obviously, you know, they're trying to make sure the shark is still, not around or anything. And they have like the cops and they have like these boats and helicopters and everything. And the mayor's like, why aren't you guys in the beach and everything? Man,
Crazy.
that mayor character,
Yeah.
I'll get into him in a second, but man, I went from like hating him to being like a little bit understanding with him. But I was really taken aback. I was like, they're all just going into the beach, and I literally like screamed at my screen. I'm like, don't go in there.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And
It's crazy, like that whole scene. And then just this one couple just walking in. I'm like, can you imagine being that couple? They're probably like walking to their death.
And they're like an old couple too, which makes it even more like this kind of like dark sense of humor for me personally. But I really like felt the tension of like out of nowhere, this like Finn just comes out and it's like close to like one of the girls and she just like starts screaming. And they all just like start running out quickly. I definitely felt like this sense of like claustrophobia during that sequence, and especially like when some of the older people were like falling down and you just see like all the people just like running. I was like, that's really eerie and scary to me. Like I'm like, well, I hope they don't get stepped on, things like that.
And I like the switch it does playing of your expectations. Like Brody tells his kids to go play in the pond instead because they're safer there or whatever.
I know.
So they go and do it, and then lo and behold, that's where the shark actually shows up. And it's like this nice kind of moment of this guy, again, he's in over his head. He doesn't know how this shark works.
Yeah, he's out of his element for sure.
And that brings in the character of Matt Hooper and stuff, of being someone more knowledgeable and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just love that so much. I love how the characters do their best and everything, but they don't know what kind of situation they're in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then also when that Finn is revealed, and it's like, oh, it's just these two kids playing a prank. It was like, I felt like a nice sense of relief for like a minute. And then they reveal that thing of like, oh, the shark is in the pond. And it's like, oh, that all that fear just like came back to me for me personally. And it was just like, oh my God, that was genuinely terrifying, This shark throughout, I mean, honestly, I wasn't really sure how to kind of expect it going into it. Cause I was like, it might be a little distracting, things like that. I really didn't feel distracted by the shark at all. Like anytime they show this shark, it is genuinely scary. Like that thing is creepy looking.
And it's the perfect amount too. I swear every time it pops up or whatever, it's just like, it's barely enough to in your head just be like, oh, holy crap. And then that's it, and I just love that so much. I'm like, that works so well. And it's not CGI, you really are looking at something.
It's like so practical
under the
too.
water.
Yeah. And it's like hearing that's like mechanical is like insane. I'm like, I would love to know, like obviously after I would love to know how they pulled that off, honestly.
I love that middle part of the movie where it is kind of like this back and forth of thinking they know what to do and then their expectations are thrown off, like I love the part where these group of fishermen catch this little shark or something and they think they
it's like
found
it's like a group of like fish hunters too, which made it even more insane to me.
And Chief Brody's like super happy and everything, and then Matt Hooper's like measuring the mouth and he's like, this isn't the right one. And then they're like, well, we have to cut it open. And then that's when the mayor, it really shows what his mental mind state is, because he says, he's like, you're not about to cut this open, and we're going to watch that Kittner boy spill out all over the dock. I'm like, what the? and like Wallied said, there's like these extras that are just so memorable. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times, like watching this movie with my dad or something, in this part, like they're like, oh, well, what kind of shark is it? And then Matt Hooper's like, it's a tiger shark. And then this person just turns to the camera. He's like, oh, what? And the way he says it, we laughed at that so hard as like a kid. I thought it was so funny. And the guy has one line, and I swear I remember that so much.
And it's such a great way to like have like this sense of like relief throughout. I think that's one thing of why a lot of the humor I think works for me personally, at least on this first viewing, is just like it really just it feels like a nice like sense of levity through like a lot of the really disturbing horror stuff that you see throughout. Like, I mean, I wasn't expecting that kid to get killed at the beginning. I was like, that was okay. Like, it got really dark quickly, and then you added humor moments like that. And it's like, it makes it for like a really fun roller coaster of emotions for me personally.
Yeah.
And especially with that mayor too, man, like his introduction and just throughout, I'm just like, dude, is this guy delusional or something? Does he not see that there's people dying at the beach?
And all he cares about is the tourism and stuff, the money. And I don't know. I really give props to the actor.
He did a fantastic
Murray
job,
Hamilton. I've seen him before on like just certain stuff. Mainly, I remember him on a few episodes of the Twilight Zone and stuff. So
cool.
It was kind of like this weird realization of like watching the Twilight Zone and being like, wait, that's the mayor from Jaws. But he does a great job because you really are just like, I don't like this guy. Yeah. And I really like how after everything kind of goes to shit, he's kind of out of the movie because you kind of realize. Yeah,
that was really surprising because I was like, oh, they'll probably show him as like the villain of the movie. He's like the evil, greedy mayor. But I was really surprised, like after, like once they showcase that hospital sequence and he's like, he's like, oh, my kids are in danger and everything. I like that he finally comes to like the realization with that.
Exactly.
I was like kind of like a nice little arc for him. Yeah. And I love, and see, it's so funny you mentioned the tourism thing because I love the sequence where they see like the billboard and everything and there's all like these news and one of the people did like graffiti on like the billboard. That was funny. And he's all, whoever did this vandalism, get them now and just hang them somewhere. I'm like, dang, man. I guess one thing that also really surprised me too with this film is honestly like the setting of this, because I kind of expected this film to be set in like, California, kind of like that West Coast beach area. So I was really shocked when I found out that the film setting is like in the East Coast, near that like New England area, because when you kind of expect summer, you kind of think like more like hotter deserty places, things like that. But I really loved that. I really loved how they showcased the setting as like kind of like a character of its own.
When we get to the part where it really started to set in like the horror of everything, there's this great effective kind of a jump scare, but this nighttime sequence.
Oh my God.
Brody and Matt Hooper go onto his boat and they're kind of scanning the water and everything. And then that's when you really start to get the feeling of, Brody doesn't like water and stuff. Like he's wearing his life vest and he's like telling Hooper like, oh, you're going to go down there right now? And he's like, yeah, I have to see what it is.
And he's all in his like scuba diving outfit and everything.
And oh man, when he's going underwater and then he finds like this tooth and everything, because there's this boat that's been sunken. And there's this reveal of this dead body. And
that scared me so much. I literally screamed when I saw it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like I caught me so off guard. My heart was like beating so fast and I just started like kind of laughing a little bit nervously. I'm like, I even like closed my eyes at like one point. I'm like, is there anything else there? Yeah. I was really like, and it's so crazy because it's like, you don't expect anything to happen. And then it just like pops out of nowhere. And I was like, for me, I was like, that's how you do a jump scare for me personally.
That was great. When they get into the third act and everything, I really just like the setup of it's these three. This is their only way to go about it. You have Quint there. He's like this sea master and he's got like Quint, like even just going into his house and everything, he's got all these shark,
he's like the shark expert in like a different way compared to like Hooper is, where he's more like the oceanologist expert, and all of their chemistry, I think really works for me too, personally.
And I like how these guys are all kind of, basically they're all trying to achieve the same goal. They all want the same thing. They just are going to go about it in their different ways. But, there is other motivation that's driving them as well. I love that Brody is just, it's almost his duty, it's his job to go out and do this, as chief of police. That's also the kind of sad thing too, is he was the one who was against opening the beaches. He was trying to save lives.
Yeah, exactly.
And they went against his judgment.
And then you see
he's still the one going out on the boat to see this through.
And even like the scene that really like kind of made me sad was like, obviously like the kids of the parents, they slap Brody in the face, and it's like, obviously it's not his fault.
I know, yeah.
But they have to find kind of like someone to blame for that, you know?
And I love when he's saying goodbye to his wife and everything, his family. And
that kid was really funny too.
Yeah.
I like when he's like on the phone and he's all, what? And then he just like, the kid just says like some random thing.
Yeah. I love the line so much of, what do I tell the kids? The wife says that to him and he just says, tell him I'm going fishing. Like that's such a good line. And I'm like, damn.
That is a great line. Yeah.
Like that's,
I mean, they kind of are.
Yeah. I was like, technically they're not
weird,
wrong.
Messed up way. Yeah.
And just the shot of it through the shark's mouth on the wall, seeing Quint's boat going out onto the sea and everything.
No, it's great.
Really is like, damn, this is gonna be awesome. And,
yeah.
And there's so much that happens in this kind of third act when they're on the boat, kind of second act, third act, but you really get a lot from these characters. I like how when they go out onto the ocean, it is not just this simple find the shark, kill it. They have to go through so many different things to get the shark to even show up.
That was like what shocked me the most with this going through my head. I was like, let's see how far we can take the concept of like us trying to find and kill the shark. Like, I love the moment of like where they're getting these like barrels and everything and they put like a tracking device or something on the shark, and it's like, oh, it kind of works for a little bit, but then it's like, no, it doesn't. And the shark is like this. It's insane how like powerful this shark is too.
And there's so many different layers to it. Like with the barrels, or Quint has like this giant fishing rod and everything, and that he like clips himself to. And I'm just like, what? And then
I know.
Yeah, and then they get out crazy. Like this diving cage. There's just so many different things and aspects that I'm like, they really didn't need to do this for a third act. They really could have just found the shark, whatever, simple. And I like how it pulls out all the stops. You know? And then not even to mention, like, I love the quiet moment too of all of them,
just like
drinking
sitting at
and
the
stuff,
table, and they're kind of like telling stories. Yeah.
And that's when you get this totally different side to Quint, Robert Shaw. He delivers this amazing monologue.
Oh, it's fantastic. And it was like not at all what I expected. And I genuinely just felt so much sadness for him too, and that's the one thing with his character is like, even before he gives that like whole monologue, I was like, man, there's like such an interesting history with this guy, that you can kind of just like kind of imagine in your head and everything. And I honestly, with them pulling all the stops and everything, I think that was such a great way to show like this is like a challenge for them. It's not just like a simple like, oh, we found the shark, let's kill it now. I love that they find different avenues of how to like catch the shark and how to like kill it finally, like once and for all, like that was something I really, really loved and appreciated with this, with just that whole third act. And it felt like, just for me personally, just like a really nice payoff to everything I've just watched, and all just like the incredible tension throughout is just finally released.
And it elevates the stakes at pretty much every moment. Like you have them shooting the barrels into it, and Quint's like, there's no way he can go down with 3 barrels in him, and then he
still goes down with 3 barrels, which blew my mind. I was like, that's like, it just shows you the strength of this like great white shark.
And then they have the reel and everything, breaks the reel. It has Matt, going into the diving cage, that doesn't work. There's just so many different parts where it's like, oh, okay, each plan you're thinking in your head as like an audience, like, oh, okay, this will work, and then it just doesn't.
It's like, nope.
And things just keep getting worse, and it's just like, wow, this is just elevating everything in such a great way. And again, I really think that's amazing, because I can picture so many other writers or directors really being like, this kind of drags it out. Let's make it a little faster. Let's do this. I'm really glad that Spielberg took the time and took each moment and each opportunity to really raise the stakes,
Yeah, definitely.
And then not only to mention, like, just showing that none of these guys really know how much trouble they're in,
it isn't until that boat, like, he literally, the shark eats the boat at a certain point, and literally, like, oh man, like Quint's death, man, I think for me that was the saddest death I think through the whole film, especially after that whole monologue sequence and everything. And the music in that sequence too is just fantastic. I love just how it can go from intense to like whimsical at like certain points. But man, just that kill, like he like the shark like bites his legs, and like, there's just like blood everywhere on like the boat, and the boat is like about to sink, and it's like half of it is like crushed. I was like, how are they gonna get out of this?
Seeing that shark surface on the boat, man, and seeing the mechanical and everything of this, effect. Man, it just really, in that scene, I'm just like, oh my God, that's terrifying.
And it's up close too. And just the way they showcase it, it was like, wow, you know, like that's some really great editing.
Yeah. Another part of the third act that I really like, I like how these two are really in kind of competition with each other, this Hooper and Quinn. And it's almost like Brody's there is just almost like an annoyance, you know, like they really will just use him for different stuff. They'll tell him different commands like, oh, go and do this. And then he goes and does it. And then they're like, what are you doing? Go and do that. You know? And Brody's just like, I'm literally just here, you know?
He's just there.
And then there's a great moment that makes me laugh every time. It's just such a simple thing. Quinn's drinking like this beer or something, and then he like crushes the can, and then Hooper's drinking that paper cup, and then he crushes it. That's so funny to me. There's so many moments like that.
That was really funny.
It's just entertaining, and then on a script level, it's really great. But man, I really feel like these actors just elevate it so much. And
their chemistry is fantastic.
Too. Yeah,
that competitive nature was like not at all what I expected. But man, I love that they take it so far.
Yeah, and I really like the payoff of Brody is the one to really outsmart this thing, and he's the one who. It's kind of set up from the beginning. Like at no point while watching the beginning or anything, especially when they introduce all these experts and everything, that I really am like, oh, Brody's going to be the one to do this. Yet when it happens, I'm like, oh crap, he really did. And
that was so surprising to me too, especially because throughout the whole film, he's like mostly the outside perspective on everything. He's kind of like the audience to me, you know, he's trying to also figure out like what's going on and everything too.
Exactly.
But it was like, again, like a really great payoff. And I'm glad they made that decision and called to have him kill the shark.
And he's, man, just amazing shots, amazing climax, just him on the top of the boat, and it's just sinking, you know, and I'm just like, man, that's crazy. And then the shark's coming at him again, and he just lands the perfect shot.
I thought Hooper had died actually.
Same.
Yeah. I was like, wait, did he die from like the cage and everything? Because he kind of just goes away.
Yeah.
And then when he pops up again, I was like, oh, okay. I guess, he was there.
I had heard somewhere in the original script or whatever, he was supposed to die.
Oh, okay.
But I think they kind of rewrote it. Maybe I'm wrong. But I love it. And then I love the ending of them swimming back
it's fantastic. I really loved that. It was like a nice like little sense of relief. It was like, it felt like a nice weight had been lifted off my shoulders after that.
And then the ending line is just perfect. You know, Brody's talking about how he was scared of the sea and stuff. He was scared of the water. And
what a great arc, honestly. You know, because I remember they gave like a little details about that, or little hints at the beginning of like, oh, he's scared of the water. He doesn't like going in the water. So it was so surprising when like he goes on the journey with them to go fight the shark and everything. I was like, that's like a really cool arc.
And I love Hooper's last line of, can't imagine why. And then the movie ends. That's like just perfect. And I'm like, wow. And then the credits roll and you're just like,
I know, that was shocking. I couldn't believe that. But I was like, that's actually a really perfect way to end it, honestly. And not only that, but I noticed too is like the beach is like all empty now and everything. Like that was like, I was like, dang, nobody's there to celebrate the shark being killed.
There's just so many great things with this ending, movie. There's just, man, this is a movie growing up as a kid that I really loved. And I remember thinking some of the talking parts and stuff were a little boring or whatever. Obviously, I'm a kid.
I was like that too as a kid, so I don't really blame you.
And now growing up, man, I love that first half almost as much as the second half. Like just the idea of this guy, basically boy who cried wolf situation. No one believes him. And just to see someone on that kind of, now as I'm older, you know, his level and everything, and he just can't win. He can't win in any situation. The public blames him, his bosses, the mayor, everyone blames him. and he's just trying to make this whole thing work. And that
this poor guy.
Now understanding that makes that climax and the payoff of him getting the shark just that much more. And I'm just like, wow, that's really cool.
Definitely.
And it's it pans out in such a great way. This movie has everything: great music, great acting. I have honestly no complaints with this movie at all. I can't think of anything that I would do differently. All the characters have amazing moments. Even the kid actors are really good.
And they're not even in the movie for that long either, too. Like, that's also like what's so impressive about it to me.
This is not only a blueprint for just blockbusters, but then the horror aspects too. Like, there's so many different horror directors and stuff that reference this movie, and are like, you want to see a great building of tension, you want to see how masterful it is, watch this movie, you know. And not only to mention like just Spielberg in general, seeing that he could do something like this,
especially in like such an early part of his career too, you know.
Amazing.
That's still like just genuinely insane to
me. But yeah, this movie's amazing. I often hear this movie talked about of like, what are some movies that deserved Academy Awards or whatever? What's a movie that didn't get its due when it came out? And one of the ones I hear the most is Robert Shaw's Quint. Everyone really says should have got an Oscar nomination for his acting. And when you watch this guy,
surprising.
This guy really doesn't feel like an actor. This guy really sells you on the fact that he's like this sea expert and everything. And yeah, I forgot to mention this. One of the other scenes I love with him and Matt Hooper is he grabs his hands and he's like doing this weird like intimidation thing of like, you've been counting money all your life, this and this. And Matt Hooper's like, I don't need this working class hero crap.
That was great.
But yeah, this movie's just perfect for me. If you haven't seen it, man, really check this out. This movie works even Halloween time, summertime. Anytime really. This movie is just one of the perfect movies, you know. So obviously for me it's a 10 out of 10.
Nice.
Check it out if you haven't seen it. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, for my first time, man, what an incredible experience. What a emotional experience too. Like, man, I can feel scared one moment, I could be laughing the next. I could also feel sad at certain points, and then I could feel this like happiness and sense of relief by the end and everything. And man, does Steven Spielberg just put it together so well in such a great package. And man, there's so many incredible setups throughout. There's so many just memorable characters, even characters that are like barely in the film. They're still like more memorable than like most side characters for me, honestly. I love just the shark in general. Like, I was really shocked how much that scared me, and I wasn't expecting it at all, but man, it really got to me. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go swimming in the beach anymore after watching this, but man, but yeah, incredible music. Like, man, just easily for me, like one of my favorite scores I've heard in a while. Him and John Williams, man, they just make magic together, whether it's this film or Jurassic Park or Indiana Jones.
Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Star Wars too. Yeah, I mean, he just cannot miss.
John Williams never misses. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, not only that, but I mean, the fact it's 2 hours and it can still hold my attention is just like genuinely insane to me. And the editing and pacing throughout is fantastic. I mean, literally from the moment it begins, I was just invested and I was like, no, this is something special. Yeah, man. I'm so excited to watch more from Steven Spielberg. I really, really loved this. And yeah, I'm disappointed it's taken me so long to see it, but I'm finally happy I got around to finally watching this. I think this might be a tie for me between Last Crusade and this film now for being my favorite Steven Spielberg film. So yeah, score-wise for me, it's a 10. Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. I don't really have any complaints with it. Not any I could really think of. I think it gets everything across in such a great way. Again, the horror is genuinely terrifying. And again, there's like really funny moments and there's also like really incredible drama moments. And again, I'm like invested in all of these characters and I'm invested in the whole story and journey. So yeah, I mean, to no one's surprise, it's an easy 10 out of 10 from me.
It really aged super well. This is a movie that, man, I can't even imagine at the time. Apparently, I've heard that this really affected a lot of people going to beaches and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, I could imagine, honestly. I mean, after watching, I mean, 50 years later, I'm watching it. I'm kind of affected by that.
This is like a cultural moment, you know. This movie is just so like big, you know. At one point, this was the highest grossing movie of all time, you know.
Well deserved, honestly.
Yeah. But if you haven't seen it, please check it out. Let us know what you guys think.
Definitely check it out, guys. Yeah, let us know what you think if you haven't seen it, like I had it before. And man, I'm so happy I finally saw it. And yeah, again, I'm just really excited to just check out more from Spielberg because, man, he has such a wide array of films. Like, there's so many of his films I just still need to see and get around to.
All right. Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Next
what do
movie
you got?
we got for recommendation. I was going back and forth with a bunch of different stuff. But while watching this movie, in my mind, I was thinking about maybe another childhood movie that I've seen that for me has just aged super well. And kind of fits that same category of, man, this is a perfect movie, you know? And coincidentally, there's it's an anniversary of the movie as well. I wanted to talk about Back to the Future by Robert Zemeckis.
Wow.
It's actually going to be put back in theaters this week on Halloween.
Oh, so, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if I can make that.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to go to the theater to see it. I've seen it in theaters before.
Okay, I have not actually.
But man, for me, this is an amazing movie and everything. It's influenced so much on my hobbies, my own personal humor and stuff.
Yeah.
This was kind of one of those movies I mentioned where you don't really know much about it. You're not excited to see it, but you're won over through it. I'll get into more with the review, but my dad and my mom were going somewhere before they were going out to like dinner or something. And my dad rented this movie and all three of us were at home. And he was like, while you guys are gone, I want you guys to watch this movie. And we were like, okay. And we had the VHS and everything. And we put it on and we were just like, I don't want to watch this. It's probably boring or something. And in that opening credits and everything, there's like this gag that they go for. And
it's fantastic.
In that instant,
I love it. Yeah.
I was won over and I was just we were dying laughing. I remember we rewind that part like 4 times because we thought it was so funny. And then eventually we watched the rest of the movie and there were so many different moments and things.
Oh, sick.
But yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this movie. This was one that honestly, for me personally, this is on my top 10 favorite films of all time. Like, this movie's that good to me.
Yeah. Oh man, I have seen this one so many times.
Yeah.
Same thing as you. Like, this is one I watched a lot of as a kid, and I'll be honest, this is probably like one of the happiest films I think I've ever seen. Honestly,
yeah.
Like, this film just puts like the biggest smile on my face every time I watch it. Yeah, that's a really great pick, man. Yeah, and this was actually my introduction to Robert Zemeckis, actually, too. So that's definitely one thing I'll touch on during the discussion. Because
40th anniversary.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. Jeez.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's so funny because my dad also like introduced me to this movie also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is it's just that good. And like anytime I put it on, man, I'm just like, I'm in another zone. I'm like, yep, I have to watch this.
Yeah. No, this is a fantastic pick. Yeah. That's a really great pick, man. I'm excited to get into it.
But yeah, that is it for us. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank y'all for joining us in our Halloween horror all-inclusive transitional extravaganza.
We appreciate it so much. So we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Good day and good night, mates.
Happy Halloween.